Today, we are diving deep into one of the most confusing and honestly one of the most painful human experiences there is. That moment when a tiny, insignificant event triggers a massive emotional reaction, one that feels like it belongs to a completely different time in your life. It's the silent internal storm that can just leave you feeling lost, confused, and ashamed. But here's the thing, this isn't a flaw in your character. It's actually a predictable feature of your brain's incredible survival hardware. So let's explore how it all works.
And this right here, this is the central paradox we are going to unpack today. You see, most of us think of a flashback as, a movie scene replaying in our heads. But the most powerful flashbacks, they aren't seen, they are felt. Your body literally becomes a time machine, dragging you back to your worst moments, forcing you to feel the terror or the shame or the helplessness all over again. And often, there isn't a single image to explain why.
I mean, this is the question at the heart of it all, isn't it? You're in a perfectly normal situation, a minor disagreement with a friend, a simple mistake at work, and suddenly you feel like a terrified child again. Your world feels like it's ending. And you know logically that your reaction is completely out of proportion, but the feeling is so real, so visceral, that logic has absolutely no power. Well, today we're going to find the answer, and it lies deep inside the brain's filing system.
We call this experience the silent hijack, and it's a perfect name for it. It's silent because it happens without any external warning, and it's a hijack because your rational adult self is temporarily taken offline, completely replaced by an old, powerful emotional state from your past. Let's look at what's actually going on here.
I want you to think about it for a second. A friend uses a certain tone of voice, and bam, you're flooded with this feeling of worthlessness. Or your boss gives you some very mild feedback, and you feel this soul-crushing shame that just makes you want to crawl into a hole and hide. This isn't just you being too sensitive. This is an emotional flashback in action. Your nervous system is responding to a ghost, a threat from the past that is no longer here. This experience actually has a name. It's called timeline collapse. It's when the boundary between the past and the present just dissolves. The emotional charge of an old memory becomes so intense that it completely overwrites your current reality. So you aren't just remembering feeling scared or helpless, you are scared and helpless, right here, right now. Your timeline has collapsed. So how on earth does this hijack happen? Well, it's not random and it's not a mystery. It's a predictable biological process, a loop in the brain that, once you understand it, you can actually begin to interrupt. So let's break down the anatomy of what's happening inside your nervous system. And let me just say this right now. If you experience this, it does not mean you're broken. It just means your brain is running a very old and very powerful survival program, and that program is called the limbic re-entry loop. Let's walk through this mechanism step by step. Okay, here's how it unfolds. First, a sensory key, could be a tone of voice, a look, even a smell, matches an old wound. Instantly, your brain's alarm, the limbic system, is hijacked. It screams, danger. Then comes the somatic download. Your body is flooded with the exact same physical sensations from the original event, like a racing heart or a knot in your stomach. Now, your thinking brain gets totally confused and scrambles to find a reason for this terror in the present, blaming the person in front of you or yourself. And finally, identity regression kicks in. You emotionally shrink into the younger version of yourself who first felt that pain, and you start using their old defenses, hiding, people-pleasing, or lashing out. And just like that, the loop is complete. So why does this loop even exist? Why doesn't the brain just go, oh, hey, that was the past, we're good now? Well, it all comes down to a simple but really profound filing error that happens during moments of intense stress. To get this filing error, we need to meet two key players in your brain. On one side, you have the amygdala. Think of it as your body's alarm system. It's lightning fast, it's purely emotional, and its only job is to scream danger to keep you alive. On the other side, you've got the hippocampus. This is the brain's librarian. It's slower, more logical, and its job is to take your experiences, understand the context, the who, what, where, and when, and file them away neatly as part of your life story. Now, these two are supposed to work together as a team, but sometimes they don't. And here is the core of the problem. During overwhelming stress, your brain is flooded with stress hormones like cortisol. This chemical flood literally suppresses the hippocampus. Your librarian gets knocked out cold, and as a result, that memory never gets properly processed. It never gets a date stamp. It isn't filed away under past events. It's just left there as a raw, terrifying emotional charge floating around in your nervous system.
So years later, your amygdala, which is always scanning for threats, that's its job, stumbles upon this unfiled, dateless memory. And because there's no tag on it that says, hey, this happened a long time ago, the amygdala does the only thing it knows how to do. It assumes the danger is current, it's active, and it is happening right now. And it pulls the fire alarm with everything it's got, triggering that whole limbic reentry loop all over again.
Now, this might sound like a terrible design flaw. I mean, why would our brains do this to us? But the answer is really profound. Your brain isn't trying to punish you, it's trying to protect you. And understanding this, well, it changes everything. This right here is the prime directive of your survival hardware. See, for your brain, accuracy is a luxury, but safety is an absolute necessity. Your brain will trigger 1,000 false alarms if it means avoiding even one real threat. It would much rather you overreact and be safe than underreact and be vulnerable. This principle is called survival primacy. It's the brain's built-in, non-negotiable bias. Once a fear pathway has been burned into your neural circuitry, it basically becomes a superhighway. So your brain just defaults to it because it's efficient and, from a survival point of view, it's a known quantity. It actually prefers the familiar misery of the flashback to the unpredictable unknown of what might be happening in the present moment.
So we have to reframe this entire experience. This overreaction, this timeline collapse, it's not a bug, it's a feature. It is evidence of a system that fought desperately to keep you alive back when you weren't safe. Your brain isn't your enemy. It is your fierce, loyal, and sometimes, tragically misguided protector.
Understanding this changes the whole game. Because if this is a predictable biological process, it means we can intervene. We can learn to work with our loyal protector, not against it. We can give it the new information it needs to finally stand down. And this section is all about how to do exactly that. Okay, this is the absolute key to intervention. When you're in a limbic hijack, your thinking brain, your prefrontal cortex, is basically offline. So trying to use logic to convince yourself that you're safe is like trying to email a firefighter during a 5-alarm blaze. It's just not gonna work. The amygdala doesn't speak the language of logic. It speaks the language of the body and the senses. To get out, you have to go through the body. This phrase is your first tool. It's called a timeline anchor. The moment you feel that familiar surge of panic or shame, you say this out loud. So what are you doing when you do this? You are acting as your own hippocampus. You are manually adding the date stamp that went missing all those years ago. You are telling your amygdala in clear, simple terms. The threat is in the past, the body is in the present, we are safe. Okay, next, you need to prove it to your brain using the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method. This forces your brain to engage with the present moment. So you name 5 things you can see right now, 4 things you can physically feel, the chair beneath you, the fabric of your shirt, 3 sounds you can hear, 2 scents you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This isn't just a distraction, it's a reorientation. You're literally pulling your attention out of the past and anchoring it in the solid reality of this room.
So here's the full process put together. You start by anchoring the timeline with your words. Then you engage your senses with the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method. Next, you label the physical sensations. My heart is racing because my body is remembering something scary. This helps re-engage your thinking brain. And finally, you use long, slow exhales, breathing out for longer than you breathe in. This activates the vagus nerve, which is like the body's emergency braking system, and it sends a powerful biological signal of safety straight to your brainstem. You are giving your amygdala the hard data of safety that words alone can never provide.
When you start to practice these tools, something truly profound begins to shift. You stop fighting your body's reactions and you start tending to them. You move from a state of internal conflict to a state of internal compassion, and you start to realize a fundamental truth. It's not broken. It never was. Every hyper-vigilant reaction, every emotional flashback, every single moment you felt crazy, that was just your nervous system trying to enact a survival strategy that once worked. It was the only thing it knew how to do to protect you. Your body is a survivor, and these flashbacks, they are not signs of weakness. They are the scars of your strength. They are memorials to the battles that your younger self fought and won. They are a testament to a system that absolutely refused to let you go down no matter what the cost. And this is the ultimate takeaway. The war you were fighting, it's over. By learning to anchor yourself in the present, by giving your nervous system the experience of safety it never got, you can finally let your loyal protector stand down. You can teach your body, sense by sense, breath by breath, that it is safe to live in the here and now. You don't have to keep surviving what you have already survived. The present is waiting for you.